Welcome back to North American LCS. I'm joined by Liquid's co-owner, Steve Liquid Aaron Set, to talk a little bit about some of the organizational changes that you guys have gone through throughout the course of this entire year. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to help provide some clarity on these issues. I think where I want to start is, as you are one of the organizations that has gone through the most roster changes, most player changes, structural changes throughout the course of even just your org's history, and shown that you really are looking to find the best practice, the best solution. Have you guys found that yet? Do you feel like you have an overarching philosophy that you can now stand behind in terms of player development and ultimately making your decisions around starting rosters?
Yeah. So Team Liquid, we've been around for the LCS for over 5 years, and we try things. We are always pushing the envelope, and that's one of our philosophies, is that we're never settled for the way things currently are for esports or gaming. And we've done that with the first team to put players in individual rooms or move away from a gaming house. We just locked down an office where we're going to have all of our teams practicing and playing, which is like a mile away from the studio here.
Nice.
And we've been the first to import a player from another region. Back in the day with Edward, we were the first team to do an O1 visa for Elements, which was the first of its kind. So we're always pushing the envelope. And when you try a lot of things, some things don't go well.
I was going to say,
and that's just how it works.
On
right?
top of things not going well, sometimes you face massive amounts of criticism. So how, in the face of all this criticism and in sometimes disappointing performances, do you as an organization choose to charge forward with this philosophy, knowing you might be pissing some people off?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you have to stay true to what your belief is. And for us, it's the development of players. It's creating a variable mindset that things can always improve, that you can actually teach players to be better than when they come in. And I think Team Liquid, we deserve some recognition and credibility for the way that we've developed players into the scene. And prior with Team LoL Pro and Curse Academy and Curse EU and Curse Australia, I mean, these are teams where we brought in a number of players that are currently playing in LCS, right? We've developed players. That's been kind of something that's been core to us, and we lost that actually this season, really.
Was there something that triggered? Can you pin down why it was you lost that?
Yeah. Well, we decided to sell our NACS spot, and that we sold that to United.
Yeah.
And after that sale, we did not field a challenger team. And that was, I think, a major mistake in terms of our strategy for developing players. And it took us away from something that was really a core competency of our organization, which was developing talent. And we had done such a great job with that. So we've already moved back to that. And we have an academy team now.
All right, so now let me dive into something that's a little bit trickier to navigate, right? Which is the most recent trade with bringing Dardoch back onto the lineup, because as you talk about the development of players and in some cases making them better, than when they came to the org, there was controversy around him, leaving. We saw, of course, the documentary released. And now, after making multiple pit stops to other teams, returns to Team Liquid. Just help provide some clarity for me on the decision to bring him back into the roster and why you think this time around it's going to be different.
Josh is, we fully understand, probably better than any other organization, the things that he's done and said. And those have to factor into our considerations on bringing him back onto the roster. And that's why it was so important for me to get the opinions of the players that had previously played with Josh. So Sam, Matt, and Piglet, they had competitive experience with him as a teammate.
Very much so.
And the unanimous decision was that bring Josh back.
Okay.
Let's play with him and let's see how things work out. And for me, it was it's going really well so far. And he has been a great teammate. He's collaborating. He's a shot caller. And so I'm very hopeful because the team is behind him and he's really doing well. But it's up to him. His future is in his hands. He gets to write the next chapter.
I like that. I like that outlook. And of course, his move is right alongside the move of Mickey coming over to North America. He's going to get his debut today. So I know a lot of NA fans are very excited about the prospect of him performing in the mid lane. For you, again, replacing Golden Glue here in the mid lane, what was the thinking around bringing Mickey in, especially as he is an import? And you already, in a sense, are an import-heavy roster with Reignover on the lineup, or at least at your disposal.
Yeah. You know, so we wanted to evaluate what options could be available at the time that they become available. And one of the things that's not working for us is that there's not many player options in between splits. I'd say 99% of all contracts are going to end at the end of a season. So that's not working for us. But when things become available, we're going to look into them. We're going to evaluate and find out what may work for us. And when Mickey was released from Rocks, we spoke with him a few days after, and we said, hey, this may be an option. Let's evaluate it. And in those conversations, it became clear like he would add a lot of firepower to the roster. It's really interesting because Riot just released some statistics, advanced statistics, just the other day, and one of the those stats is the damage that's dealt.
The damage rating.
The damage rating, exactly. And for Mickey's damage rating, he's actually second to FLICKR in all of LCK,
right? Which
is really impressive, and I think it's a good stat. And so for us, we're very hopeful. And you know, some of the misconceptions we had about Mickey, like what about his English and how is he going to integrate into the team? He's doing really well.
Right.
We've got a tutor for him that's going to be working with him twice a week. His English is actually better than what we thought it was going to be, and he's already like earned the respect of his teammates, playing extremely well.
I want to close with this, and it might be a difficult question to answer. How do you measure success for the decisions that you've just made? Because you have such a finite amount of time, right? In terms of the scope of this season, right?
Yep.
For Liquid right now, the goal is to avoid the promotion tournament. Well, you've only got this week of play, and if you successfully avoid the promotion tournament, you're not playing again. Yep. So how will you know if you've made these right decisions going into the offseason and even into the 2018 season, ideally, right? To know we've made the right decision, or hey, we need to be looking at the other guys whose contracts are coming up in that postseason to maybe replace more players.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we are disappointed in our performance this season, and past split and current split. We've disappointed ourselves, we've disappointed our fans, and the thing is, I'm not going to rest. I'm not going to just sit idle and just allow that to happen. I will continue to work hard and evaluate whatever options may be necessary in order for us to be fighting for one of the top spots in LCS, like we had been doing for 5 years.
Right.
So for us, we lost it, but just for a little bit, and we're going to get it back in 2018 and beyond. So I've got to stay focused on winning and making sure that that's the
one thing I can confidently say is that no one can ever accuse Team Liquid of not trying things, right? Not looking for solutions and answers. Once again, Steve, I want to thank you for your time, helping provide some clarity on all the moves they've made throughout the split. Time for us now to throw it over to the game to see how the new roster shakes out.
Thank you very much. We're going to get straight back into the starting lineups nice and quickly. But before we do, I am Julian Page-Time Car, and my last-minute roster pickup was Aiden's Irene Moon.
Oh, man. How much you pay me?
Maybe not enough. Welcome to the team, though, as we are going to get into our second series of the day, FlyQuest versus Team Liquid. Let's just get it going here. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. On the blue side for game number 1, it will be FlyQuest. In the top lane, Balls, Jungle, Moon, a mid laner High, bot WildTurtle, support LemonNation, and coach ThinkCard.
And on the red side, it'll be Team Liquid, of course, fielding Mickey in the mid lane. Top lane, of course, will still be Lourlo. Jungle will be Dardoch. Like I said, Mickey in mid, Piglet in bot with support Matt and Coach Kane.
And again, we heard a lot from Steve. It's always good to hear from organizations, and Steve, a lot of insight into the type of decisions that the team wants to make. But the obvious one is Mickey is in, and this is a hyper-aggressive mid lane player.
Yeah, Mickey kind of got a reputation for being somebody who likes to roll the dice a whole bunch. There was the whole, roll 6 Mickey, roll 1 Mickey, depending on how he was doing that day. And he's wanted to find some more consistency and be like, why can't it be just roll 3 or 4 all the time?
I think you need a bigger dice, to be honest. Get a D20 in there.
Get D20, yeah, my man.
Buddy. Like, we'll see if it works for Liquid, because like we said, there's so many changes. Dardoch needs to be in the roster effectively with no other... we're needing a non-import player, which does mean that one of the better performing members of Liquid in recent weeks, Reignover, cannot play in this game.
Yeah, they played against Cloud9 last week, and it was Reignover who got them their 1 game win against them. But so far, Team Liquid, because they have Piglet and no other possible import in the AD carry position, or kind of, I guess, domestic player, they have to run Piglet, which then means they only have 1 import slot left, and it's between Mickey and Reignover, and you can't run both, so...
Certainly not. Let's see what happens here in this draft. Bans are already done in Phase 1. Elise, Galio, and Talia banned by FlyQuest, with Kalista, Zac, and Caitlyn banned away by Team Liquid.
Yeah, this meta has been so interesting in picks and bans. Maokai priority is very high. Thresh is also something that's like secondary priority. Kalista's up there. A lot of teams are still picking up the Zac, even though it was nerfed and had a large win rate drop on the live patch. But now we're seeing things like the other stream, Mike Young played Shyvana. Like, it's been pretty crazy how things have been going.
Feels like in general diversity just keeps growing as Maokai will be the first pick here for FlyQuest. This is certainly something that will carry over from the last patch, and so with that champion, honestly, on Liquid's side, Jarvan being picked up, can be top, can be jungle. It's been one of the premier picks in that side of the map, it feels like.
Yeah, pick up a flexible champion. Of course, Dardoch and Lourlo both can play that champion. Also taking away from Moon, who's been kind of favoring it himself, even before it was kind of coming into the meta. But there it is, Matt Life back on the Thresh here. It's a champion that, even with the bug fix that happened where his Flay was having a longer CC duration than intended, means that you can't Flay and then the hook will land almost every single time with very little time to flash. It still has, you know, a very high presence in professional play as a playmaker.
I mean, it has to feel good as, you know, a Thresh player from a long time ago in Matt, having Thresh finally be what feels like the best support in the metagame. Tristana, though, is going to be the AD pick for Turtle, and seen a lot of this champion from him historically, but in general, recently, it's been one of the most played bot laners, it feels like, in the NLCS.
Yeah, and Turtle has gotten his hands on it a few times. Right now, he's 3-1 so far this split, and he has a pretty good performance on it. With the Black Shield and the tank line of the Maokai, he's in for kind of a good game here where he can leap forward. He can be that aggressive WildTurtle from the ages of old where he would flash forward, and now it's going to take a little bit more to lock him down with the Black Shield coming in from LemonNation.
Yeah, we always talk about kind of the insurance a carry like Tristana gives you as well. It does scale so well into the late game, so TLC, we're going to take that as well as Kog'Maw will be the final pick of Phase 1 for Team Liquid, going to be in the hands of Piglet, barring some real nutty shenanigans.
Yeah, Kog'Maw has been a champion that has been popping up so much lately, but especially when you have a Lourlo or a Janna on your team for the Ardent Sensor. But this is not going to be an Ardent Sensor support here from Matt, and it's just going to be Piglet trying to be aggressive, but it's a little interesting because there's things like Sivir still on the table. You could even go for a Varus here, but they feel as though this is one of the better champions to play and try to scale alongside the Tristana.
Feels like technically you can apply it, it's just not very good.
Yeah.
The old Thresh Lantern as Lucian banned away there by Liquid. That'll be a mid laner taken away from High. FlyQuest answer back with a Gnar, so perhaps predicting that to be a Jarvan in the jungle, but of course taking away the Narvan combo and is taking one of the best top laners out.
Yeah, and when you're picking your support that early, because kind of teams were kind of moving towards having support last pick and picking their mid in the third slot on the first rotation, now you start banning out those top laners because you can last pick top and kind of take away the Maokai flex power of FlyQuest and try to get something kind of neutral there. So we'll see what happens. The Shen ban comes through, and this match is incredibly intense for both these teams. They're both sitting at a 4-12 record coming into this week, tied for 8th place in a 3-way tie, I believe. And they need to pick up wins. Both of them do. Of course, FlyQuest play against Team Liquid and Phoenix One, who are both teams that are at 4-12 or 4-13 in Phoenix One's case. So getting that win would definitely put them in a much better position to avoid the promotion tournament.
Like you said, tie for 8th. We're going to break it now in this series as LeBlanc is the final ban there for FlyQuest. Shen was the top lane pick there for Liquid as Orianna will be Mickey's debut champion here in the NLCS.
Yeah.
Nice easy one to kind of, you know, smoothly transition you into your first game.
Exactly. With Taliyah banned away, and it's a champion that Mickey was picking up towards the end of his LCK run, the Orianna is a champion that's neutral here, so picking something against it's not really going to be incredibly punishing. And that's why Team Liquid pick it, because they want to have that counter pick for top jungle flex, take away the power of the Maokai flex pick, and there they go. So they know that they'll be up against a Maokai top and a Rengar jungle from Moon, who's pretty much the only guy playing it right now. He's playing it up against Dardoch, who's known for the one-tricking of the Rengar way back.
The only other guy that maybe will play it in this current climate, but Rengar is certainly the type of champion Moon likes to play. Paul's going to be on tank duty this game, and looks like High has found Corki as his pick of choice. Definitely a team that likes to play this style of champion. So FlyQuest, I think, very straightforward, very simple draft for them, and certainly picks that suit them.
Yeah, and they kind of pushed him towards this because High has played 16 Orianna games, and then his next highest is 8 Corki games, and then it was 4 Lucian after that. Otherwise, he's played a little bit of stuff here and there. So banning away the Lucian, taking the Orianna, kind of pushes him most likely in terms of probability towards that Corki.
Well, it looks like maybe last pick, Cho'Gath here for Liquid, going to get the other major tank of this patch. I think for me, the biggest question is where is it going to go? We've seen a lot of top lane Cho'Gath feel like it doesn't succeed that often. I'm not seeing too much jungle, but at least in the current configuration, Lourlo's going to have Cho, and Dardoch will actually take the jungle job.
Yeah, playing the Cho'Gath into the Maokai is not always that fun because he's an incredibly easy to gank champion, and Maokai's point and click twisted advance makes it so easy. So I expect some ganks up top very early on from Moon, and Dardoch will have to try to sniff them out if it is going to be the Cho'Gath in the top lane. They still have 5 seconds to swap it, and it gets locked in at 20 seconds, and then no takes backsies.
Yep, and that's going to be the situation. So top Cho'Gath there for Lourlo. Definitely expecting a lot of aggression from both these junglers. These may very well be the two most aggressive junglers in the league, actually, going head-to-head here in Moon and Dardoch. Certainly players that like to get involved early, like to get some aggressive ganks happening, and both Rengar and Jarvan especially, are champions that can pull off a lot of early pressure. So if we're looking at top lane for one of the easy lanes for FlyQuest to maybe pick on, then I imagine Dardoch's going to be right there next to his good friend Lourlo.
Yeah, he was bro. We'll see what happens up in that top lane. That bromance, you know, it was strong before, and now Dardoch's come back to him. And we'll see if he's able to camp for Lourlo here. But Moon, I mean, he's kind of had those up and down performances, and FlyQuest as a whole have not been able to find that consistency. But on the Rengar, if he can get those early kills, start getting some stacks, and the top lane's the easiest one to go for, then I definitely feel like it's a great place for him to show up and start snowballing.
I think so as well. We haven't talked too much about the bottom lane either, but certainly seen a lot of aggression from Piglet and Matt. They've been, I would say in recent weeks, actually a very successful part of Liquid, despite the team not having too much success overall in the split. So sometimes their aggression gets the better of them, but a lot of the time it does find them nice windows to get ahead and stay ahead. And that's what Liquid are going to be looking to do here in game number 1 as we move out onto Summoner's Rift.
Yep. And also they got kind of countered in the bottom lane. The Tristana's an incredible pick right now, and then there was the Kalista as well as the Caitlyn bans from TL. But the Kog'Maw came through, so they're going to try to keep him safe with the mobility that he'll be able to be offered from the Thresh Lantern. But then the Thresh got picked in the first round. The Morgana as the counter came through from LemonNation. So the Morgana is both going to keep WildTurtle safe, and it's going to counter what Matt wants to do in the early parts of the game. And like you said, it's been a very successful bottom lane for TL recently. I was actually looking at some stats for TL. In terms of first blood percentage, they are second in the league in getting first blood. And in first turret percentage, they are number 1. So TL take the first turret 73% of the time, which is the most frequently in his first turret in the entire league. And that's a team that we're looking at tied for those bottom spots. So they are getting some advantages off the lane and off of their macro play early. It's just those later parts where things start falling apart.
And that's been the common story for a lot of his lower tier teams. I think all year long, to be perfectly honest. Certainly, you know, are talented, can play aggressive and get ahead, but staying ahead and then closing out the game is going to be the big one. So this could be quite the series, Irene, but nothing too crazy happening at level 1. Lemon did land a binding onto Piglet, but just a bit of poke as everyone fanned out. Looks like Moon is going to start on his blue buff with some sapling help there by Balls. And same side there for Dardoch, getting some help from Lourlo on his red buff.
Yep, giving him some saplings. So, Moon gonna have a little faster jungle clear on the top side, not doing the Raptors that was warded out by TL, as well as the red buff. So they know that Moon started on the top side, and the reason that they warded there on the bot side jungle is if Rengar starts there, it puts his path to top side, which I've been talking about nonstop since the Cho'Gath was locked in for the Maokai. It's easy to gank, and you would expect the Rengar to go there. So you have to kind of ward up early, track that Rengar, and make sure you can't get that first gank off.
Nice binding there for Lemon, though, but looks like, as expected, TL's duo are playing aggressive. Moon smites down the big Raptor, is going to ding 3 pretty quickly here. They might even be looking to pick on this guy, but Mickey with a great ward. Yeah, spot Moon moving there.
Yeah, actually going to ping him out as well. And Mickey, we've been talking about how over in the LCK he was known for his aggression and kind of the plays that would backfire. But that's something that, you know, TL, they're looking for another source of power, another aggressive playmaker, or somebody who can be somebody who's offering lane priority. Matt and Dardoch, though, on Moon.
Flash?
Dardoch flash?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, no follow, but great pressure there from Dardoch. Moon kind of caught out there again, thanks to that ward from Mickey, but a generally strong collapse from the TL bot side to keep him out of the way. In fact, that might even prompt Dardoch to go for an invade. He's got double buffs here, and Moon's about to recall and lose his red, potentially. Although Dardoch doesn't have all the information right now. He's actually camping it right now.
It looks like he didn't see the back happen there. Got the ward, or saw the ward come out, but didn't see that he was actually backing in the bush. And that was a route from Dardoch where he went buff to his Gromp and then was able to show up bottom. So it wasn't the expected route, but Matt's going to show up, and because they have lane priority bottom, they're going to take that buff and triple buff.
Yep. Moon just kind of forced to go back to his left side of the jungle. Only one camp up right now, and the Scuttle Crab on that side as well. So not a whole lot for him to take as Dardoch kind of wins out in the early bit of pressure.
Well, he saw that Dardoch took it, so I'm actually surprised he's not going for Raptors. If you count Dardoch's CS, you can just be like, oh, this is his route because he had 3, 4, now he has 5. So you knew he did buff to buff and then Gromp, so you'll just take the Raptors. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a very smart player, so we'll be recognizing little things like that, able to take down that Raptor camp and keep up in experience, but no buffs really for Moon after getting pressured off his red and only getting his blue. So going to try mid instead here.
Yeah, he has open gank routes to top and mid. Had an opportunity to go top there as well. And oh, Q's out of the bush. Maybe looked for the leap and then the Q, but Mickey didn't actually stray close enough to the brush for that.
Yeah, actually kind of respecting the correct side there for Mickey. Able to dodge out any potential pressure there from Moon. And now Dardoch, back where we expected him in the top side. Rupture already landed onto Balls. The silence follows in. Balls does have his flash, but Dardoch, there's the slow. Gonna try and force it out. Oh, the flash knock up there as Balls forced the flash, but Lourlo, he's gonna follow, and that's first blood.
Turret shot.
Dardoch.
The turret shot ends up getting a counter kill there. Flash for flash, but Dardoch with a flag drag and flash afterwards to close that distance. Caught Balls a little off guard, but it was well played there from the duo of the top.
Yeah, well, unfortunately going down, Dardoch gonna have to push his way back in, so a worthy bit of few minions taken away, but Balls with the TP back doesn't lose too much but his life here.
I actually think Balls comes out on top here. He gets the counter kill, which gives him the 300 gold, but also that kill didn't go to Lourlo. It went over to Dardoch, and he's going to catch the wave. Depends if the TP gets used from Lourlo afterwards. But right here, it's just complete darkness on the top side of the jungle. Earlier, Moon had a route into the top lane, but opted for mid instead, and Dardoch saw that Moon was mid, makes his way to the top side, and then the flag drag flash to pick him up there and give him the knockup, but then the root right inside of turret range there. It's one of those ones where it looks like Dardoch has it, but Lourlo gets rooted because he walks into turret range first. But it's well played there from Balls to get the counter kill. And now you see the difference in the top lane is that 11 CS difference, but Lourlo gets to keep his teleport. So this teleport has to be worth that 11 CS that he ends up going down.
It's also down in experience as well. Balls was briefly 2 levels ahead of Lourlo, now only 1.
And that's why the wave matters so much in the position of the wave when you gank. And that was a good gank timing if there was no teleport. But you have to use this TP to try and get something back. It has to be worth a kill, I would say, in terms of gold.
Well, we'll see if how that lane continues and if Dardoch is able to have a revisit here. Right now, Teal's bot lane still pushing out. Mickey also consistently pressuring here in this 1v1. High going to try and keep him back. Level 6 now for Corki should to make that a bit easier, but Moon going to get spotted here by Dardoch, although who's trapped too as the knockup is going to land. Moon, no flash, remember. He's going to have to keep dancing around back towards his bot lane. Lemon finally here as the bowler lands through. Matt also chasing in as a 1v1 from Piglet and Turtle means that he can't join for damage. So now a tower dive kind of being engineered as Piglet.
EQ on the side.
He's already tanked it. Dardoch gets a knock-up. Ignite down onto LemonNation. Blade's going to miss, but the hook will not. Dardoch able to maybe clean up yet another kill. Should get the exhaust. He's wonderful from LemonNation. He also hit. Mickey flashes in. Oh, he wants to make the aggressive play. He shockwaves himself. Still taking a few too many turret into Turtle. Able to get the kill, but does go down.
Piglet's going to walk up. He's going to try to kill them both.
Forward, gets one. The lantern there. He's
he needs one more.
He already got a double Moon. He's going to get low, and Dardoch able to kill him down. His team Liquid pick up every single kill there.
Yeah, they're going back and forth. High's going to try to get one here on Piglet, who went too far forward.
Execute.
I don't know. He got tagged.
All right, so Moon picks up credit for that kill. A 3-for-2 kill trade as Team Liquid with a reckless turret dive in the bot lane.
I mean, Team Liquid, they're at that point right now where, you know, they have that, not so much a lead in the standings, but they're trying to get it aggressively. Stop muting me, Pastry. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, LemonNation gets the binding here, and this was just a collapse. Mickey is there way earlier than High. High has to clear out that mid wave, and so Mickey is kind of going back and forth between mid and bot and can't make up his mind right here, and comes in a little bit later, says, all right, we're committing. The hook to keep LemonNation in, and then the final hit doesn't land, and now there's no minion wave. WildTurtle was focused on that. Mickey misses the Q after his flash on LemonNation, and then has the shockwave onto WildTurtle, who, like I said, known for jumping forward like that. But then he gets the counter kill. Piglet picks that one up, puts the auto right in, gets another on Moon, but it's not quite the finisher, and Matt got him out just barely out of turret range. If he was still in turret range there, he eats another shot, and Piglet goes down.
Unfortunately, Piglet still dies because you know where to run after that play with High finally roaming down. But if you need an introduction, a very quick one to the newest face of the LCS, that is Mickey to a T. Flash, aggressive, looking for the play under the turret.
Yeah.
Expecting a lot more of that. That was a medium roll.
Yeah, I was like, that was like a 2, I would say. Maybe a 3. No, it's a 2. It's a 2 because it's still on the bad side.
Well.
But then he shockwaved immediately after as he jumped in. So
That's a 4. You know?
A 4? Wow.
A little bit better.
Man.
I don't know. It depends. You have to make up for the 2.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good roll after that one.
We'll call it a 3, right in the middle.
All right. On average, not too bad for Mickey as he makes his first play on that bot side. TL up not quite 1,000 gold. But do certainly have a lead in total pressure. You can just kind of tell the amount of urgency that Liquid are currently playing with. But Moon's starting to farm back up now and does have level 7 as Dardoch looking once again towards that bot side with his ultimate. Does get a ward down there. He's going to be spotted as Fly. Should be able to play back towards their turret.
Yeah, and this turret on the bottom side of the map, 2/3 HP.
They didn't hit the turret, Zyrene, let me tell you.
No, they did not. They went for those kills, and 2 of them ended up on Piglet. So that's big for them, because he's going to go for that Blade of the Ruined King first here. And once he starts getting that sustain like he has with the Vamp Scepter, it's much harder to get him out of this lane. And even though they have the Tristana, who's known for that poke, and also having... Hold on. We'll talk about that in a second, because High going aggressive, the High Moon combo. Gonna spot Dardoch and Mickey.
To 2v2. Oh! There. Great route there from Moon over to follow. Maokai also roamed out trying to cut off Mickey, but Moon already took down Dardoch. TL actually maybe a little too far forward in a 2v3 as the box is burnt from Matt. Mickey just couldn't find a way around. Balls just walked down. Really good play there from FlyQuest.
Yeah, Moon with the outplay there on the Dardoch. The flag and drag, the flash back into the bola there. That's one of those plays that you get to kind of brag about for a little bit afterwards.
And these 2 guys know each other well, so certainly the kind of play that they'll be holding over the other for a while.
You think about it, Moon was on the Team Liquid Academy after Dardoch went up, and then when Dardoch got benched from the main TL squad, Moon was the replacement for a little bit. A year ago, when Dardoch was a rookie, Moon was the guy who came up, and now he's saying, all right, let's see how you're doing on Liquid now, brother. Comes back. Nope. Outplays there. So good. Even the smite there from Dardoch on the Scuttle Crab, he's just like, I need to survive for as long as I can and let Piglet and Matt actually help us out, but still not enough.
Ooh, good predict there from Matt. He's going to find Lemon. Lemon still trying to turn it back around. Roots onto Piglet, but that's not enough. Piglet able to kill him with the ultimate as Dardoch still back down here. Turtle gets some trade damage back on Matt, but this is a 3v1 turret dive. Turtle's got no help.
Yeah, he's going to have to back up here. Mickey is keeping High busy in that mid lane. They're going to pick it up, and Matt, he actually took advantage of the black shield window. There was no black shield for 6 more seconds on LemonNation. So Matt walks aggressive and reads him.
And that's full solo turret gold, I believe, to Piglet as TL walk away, getting themselves that first turret. 1,500 gold ahead now for TL. It's Balls and Lourlo duking it out here on the top side. A lot of farming happening right now. That Balls with a slight CS lead, and after that roam to the mid lane, he was able to apply some pressure, but TPs are back, and we'll have to see maybe what happens around the next Drake fight. Fly did get the first one a couple minutes ago. It was an Ocean, but the next one is an Infernal. Yeah, and there's going to be some fighting over that, and Piglet's in a fantastic spot right now. He is 1,400 gold up over WildTurtle at the moment, who hasn't gone back to spend just yet, but it's the Blade of the Ruined King completed for Piglet, as well as his boots too. So Piglet is in a fantastic spot, and this happens so often. I can't think of how many times I've had to say this in the early game, where they got the first turret, they got some early kills, a lot of them are on Piglet, now he's in a position to carry, and this has kind of become the standard here for Liquid. Now they're having a play where they swap up. Question is, do they have the tempo? Because sometimes they drop the ball here and get outpaced, and they lose 2 turrets for 1. But is FlyQuest aggressive enough to push this? They are going to push through, so we'll see what TL do respond with. They take the top out of FlyQuest, took the bottom. And looks like Piglet's going to push at least one wave. Dardoch also on this side of the map, but currently hitting the recall button. Looks like they want to defend. TL need to make sure they time this play properly. Although Piglet is just laying into balls right now with that W active. It looks like Fly not going to go too far forward. Lourlo here to catch this next wave, so all is fair in that turret trade. TL still up 1.
Yeah, and now it's going to come back to the swaps. I think they might actually put, yeah, exactly. FlyQuest will put WildTurtle on the top side, try to push that wave out before any Infernal Drake comes up in the near future, but also get control of that area and take back the Rift Herald control, because TL actually have pretty much full topside vision. They would be able to see everything that goes on from FlyQuest.
Certainly do have that all in place, so TL doing a nice job kind of again getting the early lead that we expected, but very thin margin between these 2 teams as Team Liquid have actually swapped their duo to the mid lane now. Looks like Piglet's found a safe farming spot for now. Mickey, though, is going to join back down there with his first completed item. Morello Nomicon, but High has also finished Trinity Force, so all that stuff is in place for these mid laners. And again, that next fight likely around maybe this RiftTurtle, but probably the Infernal up in a few minutes will determine a lot of how this mid game is going to look. And both of these teams have struggled to find leads and carry them to the late game from mid. So pretty pivotal moment coming up in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah, so far Mickey's done pretty well in CS, actually incredibly well. At that 10 per minute mark almost, depending on this next wave. Gonna get the blue buff handed off to him. And well, not too much can really be said just yet about Mickey, except that he's had lane priority at the times that he should. He's roamed and kind of gone back and forth on it, but communication being something they're still developing here on Team Liquid with the guy who kind of got in the last week. We need more practice time with him.
Yeah, certainly not had a lot here. That's very important to remember that Mickey is, when we say recent addition, we really mean recent addition to the team. As High actually has found Matt level 8 to 11. Doesn't feel very fair, but the package burnt there from High. Did not want to chase blindly into Team Liquid's jungle. Just trying to cover Turtle, who is getting damage done here under that top turret.
Exactly, and also High wants to go back and kind of reclaim the mid priority, but Moon looking top. Dardoch is here though to catch him out.
Yeah, Moon's already found him. Hook is gonna land, gets it out of the leap. And Moon's gonna try and turn some damage down, but Dardoch picks up his 3rd kill.
Matt, where has this guy been for like the last few weeks? Like, he has been showing up pretty consistently now with Piglet, and they've been winning that bottom lane. This was like something that he was invisible most of the last split and a half. The meta shifted, but
maybe, I mean,
still feel like it's like his play and his confidence has come back.
I think that certainly helps, but Dardoch backing onto Turtle, finding lands from Lemon. High actually maybe get a catch here. Blue buff goes over to Dardoch, Lantern out. TL with a nice invade. Dardoch gets low, but gonna be safe for now.
Yep. And now everybody's gonna reset. There's a minute left before that Infernal Drake comes up, and you know they want to fight for it. Trinity Force Power Spike could come through for High, and people want to complete their backs here and get those core items that they need. I'm also like looking at the inventory of Moon right now. He has a pickaxe and he has a ruby crystal. The only thing that those two items build into is the new Edge of Night, which we have not been seeing at all. It requires those two plus a serrated Dirk, and instead of having the magic resist on it now, it's damage and HP. So maybe, and I guess, you know, there's some other items too that kind of include it, but I still feel like this is the one that's kind of sticking out to be like, what's going on here?
We may very well find out, but didn't help him enough here in this top side replay.
Yeah, Piglet almost kills LemonNation, and then the leap gets him out of the air. It's basically Dardoch reading the position of Moon there, seeing him with the wards, and then just counter ganking. And that's what this match has been a lot about, is who's getting there first and who's not making the play fast enough to have their the other team reinforce in time.
That's pretty important in this type of jungle matchup, so certainly been a good look for Dardoch, up 3-1-1 with the Knight's Veil already done after that Cinderhawk. So nice and tanky as we look at this next Drake fight. Turtle trying to get the bot lane pushed out of the way.
Man, Knight's Vow, even though it lost 50 HP and went down from 400 to 350 and lost some cost effectiveness, it's still just that go-to item on Jarvan's. We're seeing this build from Xmithy, where he'll go from Cinderhawk straight to Knight's Vow. Knight's Vow, though, on a Kog'Maw, I feel like that's definitely something that you want. Keep that carry safe who's already fed, shut down the enemy's win condition, and now we're having a TP in from Lourlo, and the fight.
FlyQuest first to the Drake, do get it, but can they get out safely? Dardoch, great binding there from Lemon as Lourlo look for the flank, but Turtle, he's going to shoot him away with the Buster Shot. Balls use the ulti to disengage, and FlyQuest, a very clean objective taken.
Yeah, and now they have to kind of get towards that mid lane again before they lose anything, and this is going to be mid priority to Team Liquid. Matt's warding up, making sure that they can push this in. This might be that mid turret, because they're here very quickly, and both Turtle and Moon back. So, yep, that's going to be mid-turret traded for the Infernal Drake.
All right, nice trade there for Liquid. Do manage to get something out of it despite not finding the fight they were looking for. Still up in gold by about 2,500 or so. Always a tough one to get in mid. See if FlyQuest can answer back here. Is TL fade towards that Baron side. Actually, RiftTurtle still up. So that's the objective they're going to look to get. And TL, if they can get this as well, will actually end up with an objective over FlyQuest, just thanks to a nice play mid lane.
And this would help them get mid-tier 2 as well and push that down. It's going down so quickly. There's the TP from FlyQuest.
Flash from Moon after the hook there from Matt, who does get rooted by Lemon.
Yeah, they're kind of
getting chased.
Squeezed in here.
Knockup not going to find them, but Dardoch able to lay the ultimate in. Matt still fighting as the flank actually came from Balls. Moon does go down to Matt there, but Piglet, I don't think he's going to last the night. Does flash out of the way, but Dardoch going to be the target and will go down to Turtle, who's maybe going to look for some resets. Matt hooks away. He's so low.
Yeah,
does not want to give Tristana another kill.
Yep, has to kind of run away from this. Lourlo, kind of the one being chased down by Balls and WildTurtle, but they're going to go for the top lane turret push instead, and the mid lane turret push. See if Mickey can actually clear this out. He does have Shockwave still, so And he's at that point as well where he has enough to actually make sure that they don't push this wave in with just Q and W.
Should be simple enough for Orianna, but a nice double play attempt there from FlyQuest as they do grab that outer turret. The big play extension does mean FlyQuest find a few kills, and again, the objectives end up even. Although they are different is maybe the important thing to track. 2 Drakes there. Flyers will check with that in after the replay. FlyQuest really wanting this angle. Teal may be a bit too greedy here for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they kind of get pinched in because there was a push on the top side by the Maokai, who doesn't have his Nature's Grasp, which kind of gives TL the comfort to go for this. But Moon flanks alongside Balls, and then WildTurtle's a little bit late to this fight because he's shoving the wave, but it doesn't matter because LemonNation and High were able to kite on the side and give them just enough of an opening to feel like this is the way that TL has to go instead of 5-man barreling in a certain direction. And the builds right now are just so interesting to me because this game, you're seeing Moon go for that Edge of Night. He does have the serrated Dirk, so I'm pretty much confirming it, locking it down, where it's attack damage, lethality, and health, and then it has that shield, the spell shield that's been nerfed a bit, but that'll mean that if he gets hit by a shockwave, if he gets hit by a hook or a fillet when he jumps in, if he preps it correctly, then he wouldn't get interrupted. And then the other thing that's interesting to me is LemonNation. He went for the coin at first on Morgana, so I was like, okay, he's sacrificing lane pressure. That gold generation pushes him towards Ardent Censer, and he has Stoneborn Pact as his mastery. So the way that this works is if your champion in support has a CC, you run Stoneborn Pact. We even saw this with Trundle in a professional game where he would pillar, give Stoneborn Pact. People who auto that target get your Ardent Censer buff from the Stoneborn Pact heal, which is crazy to think about because Morgana's Stoneborn Pact heal is not going to be very big because it's based off your max HP. So she's going to have a very low heal, but it's going to be all about giving the Ardent Censer buff to people that she Qs or that she auto or gives the ultimate to so that her team can have that buff.
Yeah, LemonNation, again, someone that's kind of often been on the cutting edge of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And supports, I think Ardent Censer is a hot topic among many supports in solo queue
right now. If you are augmenting your masteries and build path to give yourself a way to activate Ardent Censer,
it's probably a good idea.
There's something going on here.
Seems good. See just how effective it can be once he finishes it, not too far away, and did still go sweep up with Ice Stone, so going to have that standard suite of utility tools here. But a lot of jostling around this Baron side right now.
Yeah.
FlyQuest is trying to brute force down this mid-outer turret.
And this game is actually super close right now. There's only an 800 gold difference between these teams. And we talked about Piglet being up 1,400. The gap is closed. It's only about a 500 gold lead for Piglet, who hasn't been picking up as much CS lately. And also WildTurtle was able to pick up some kills. So the 80 carries right now have the most gold on each team respectively.
Yep, 2 items done for Turtle, so he's ready to go as far as this early team fight goes. Edge of Night also finished there for Moon, so we'll see if he can find a really nice angle, prepping that spell shield up. Gonna have to do it pretty carefully, but certainly a player that is capable of finding some pretty epic Rengar angles. Ooh.
And also, like, just looking at, like, the generation of the Eye of the Oasis versus the Relic Shield, he's actually generated 400 more gold than Matt has. So even though Matt has a kill and 4 assists, the 2 assists from LemonNation plus that Ancient Coin passive is going to give him enough to actually catch up there.
Yes, what you were hearing was correct. That was the sound of Team Liquid trying to take a 2-man Baron. I mean, Cho'Gath Kog'Maw, not the worst 2-man Baron squad, but...
It's not the best either, but... Yeah, we'll see.
Got some damage, got a smite built in with the feast, I don't know.
You gotta check it, right? It's that damage check. You go into a raid as a 2-man, you're like, we can do this. Let's just check it out. Oh my god, get out!
At least it wasn't a wipe. Team Liquid do all stay up.
Bubble Hearth?
Get out, get out. Get out now. Well, that's what TL do. FlyQuest with enough pressure still towards that mid lane as Turtle is going to move down to that bottom side to answer a big double cannon wave. That's a huge wave, actually. He's going to be able to sweep up nicely, very quickly with the Shiv plus his charge.
And like I said, Piglet hasn't been picking up much CS lately. He's actually down almost 50 here. So that's going to be a big advantage for WildTurtle, who now is going to be able to get the Ardent Censer from LemonNation, landing his hook, or sorry, not his hook, his Q as I see the hook come out, or his ultimate. That's going to be Piglet getting his Runan's Hurricane. So he's a lot of single target damage right now. So Piglet will go after a single person instead of having the Runans go after. He's got the Rage Blade.
Does a lot of damage to this as well. TL looking for the Infernal Drake as Turtle maybe just hoping for a snipe. Moon could get in there, but Dardoch with a smite able to take it away. Flight did have vision there, but decided not to make the play. Had decent setup for it, but TL just a little too fast.
Yeah. And TL, you know, a little too fast on these objectives, and now with Piglet completing that Rage Blade, the Rage Blade plus the Blade of the Ruined King combination is very good at killing Baron. So TL, they've already tried it once. I feel like they may go for that cheeky Baron play again if they're able to get vision control. Because I definitely think that one of their struggles has been closing the game out. And from a macro perspective, that's a little bit harder to kind of execute on. But if you are able to get a cheeky Baron, it can circumvent some of those issues you have in map rotation communication. If you're able to just kind of have a lapse in vision for a few seconds and pick it up.
Well, right now it's FlyQuest that have all of that vision on the left side. Turtle actually mid right now as High's getting the side lane pushed in the bottom lane. Again, Fly still have this mid lane outer turret to deal with. They don't have that much central position on the map to really move through, and TL are now going to take advantage of that and clear all this vision out. But Moon waiting in the brush, might have found map, but the hook's going to land.
Yeah, onto
follow up.
Moon.
Play back is good into the box, but Total here going to shoot into Dardoch. Bolt is here, but the trap is kind of set. Piglet moving forward, trying to find that snipe, but not going to get it as a binding does land onto Dardoch.
He's low.
He's going to re-engage. Turtle should have enough damage here. Dardoch down! Team Liquid's going to lose their jungler.
That team was not expecting LemonNation to land that binding. Even FlyQuest was like, wait a second, and the binding lasts long enough for them to actually close that distance and get back onto Dardoch, who was just trying to exit as all of his team was running up as well.
Well, investing in a heavy flank does cost them position on this mid lane, so now FlyQuest are going to be the ones to push through, and High, he is just shoving Lourlo in the top side.
High is stopping a teleport from Lourlo. He also has range advantage over Lourlo.
He's going to get blown up, but he takes down Turtle on the other side. Might even look for LemonNation with a passive, forcing the flash. Piglet at least going down with a fight.
He's getting a lot out of that too. He got Mickey's Shockwave on top to try and get the counter kill onto WildTurtle. Oh, Mickey kind of turning that one around there because it was just stand your ground fight. And I feel like the Tristana at 3 items, definitely a little bit better than the Kog'Maw, who's at 2.5 now. But this play from earlier, Matt plays this so well. The hook into the play, into the box, slowing Moon down. Moon doesn't die because the follow-up is just not there. And then the binding, the flag and drag through, so he has nothing to get out. And you can see Piglet was already going back up. He's like, all right, we pushed them out. We got their jungler low. Maybe it's time to sneak a Baron. Who knows? Well,
unfortunately, Turtle dying means that FlyQuest's next objective gets cut off there as well. So no Baron, no mid-turret, which would have been the easy one to get. So Piglet's heroic last stand does at least give Team Liquid a little bit of map position still. Binding again, hits Mickey this time. He does have his Ludens completed, working in towards his Void Staff. Blue buff also going to go over to High, who can comfortably solo it with 2 items also completed.
Right now, the big thing that's standing out to me is WildTurtle so far. The Rapid Fire Cannon, the Energizer build is completely online for him, and he's 2 levels up over Piglet, who has been struggling to get farm, struggling to get anything as they're grouping. And so he's doing kind of the group up and like be with the team strategy, but I feel like now more than ever, we're seeing a lot of split push AD carries. Alltech was doing it, Apollo was doing it, Cody Sun's doing it now, where you pick up that side lane farm and you get 2 levels up over the other AD carry if he's not doing it. And the fact that it's a Kog'Maw means he doesn't get to do it safely. So you always have to have vision control of that side. The wave has to be prepped. And right now, TL have been trying to make more objective plays. So they're putting somebody like Lourlo on the far side of the objective as their top lane gets shoved in right now by WildTurtle, who's looking to grow that advantage even more.
And levels are so important for Tristana, and actually for Kog'Maw as well.
He's literally about to Flame Horizon Piglet.
As a bot laner, pretty impressive there for Turtle. Have a look in with just exactly what that gold lead looks like. Is that 1,000 gold up with a bit extra there for Turtle. Now he's just going to 1v1 Piglet. Dardoch there does find the flash and the dunk. Piglet having to take him down.
Yeah, looks like, 2v1, even though WildTurtle's been farming a whole bunch. Still not enough there. Piglet kind of caught on, went to the side lane. Like I said, it was unsafe for him to farm a side lane, and TL knew that, so they sent Dardoch up there to reinforce, and it makes all the difference there.
Turtle is spending a little too much time there. As FlyQuest are still trying to find a way to punch through the middle of this map. They actually have a gold lead.
Yeah, I'm looking at the difference here. In 6 minutes, WildTurtle's been able to get 90 farm. Piglet has gotten 20 in that time. He has just been in the last 6 minutes with the team, and now they have to really give him something.
Maybe a Baron. That would be nice.
And this is why he's been with the team so much. with WildTurtle down, they don't have that threat. This is going to be a 4-on-5.
Oh, balls with the Nature's Grasp moving in. Moon actually finding Piglet, but not quite enough there. High free firing as Lourlo does get the kill onto Moon, but Team Liquid have to keep fighting. FlyQuest need to try and
Shockwave.
Shockwave finds Lemon, who does go down. Yet another kill there, as that's 4 dead already. Sorry, 3 is High is trying to poke in. Turtle, he's coming back. He was actually dead, respawning after getting picked off, but Team Liquid don't get the Baron.
And that's why they did it, because WildTurtle was dead. Hold on, WildTurtle.
Oh, this could be a heroic play. He cancels every single back with the static shift proc. Liquid have to go even further back now, and High, he's going to use that space and finally take the mid outer turret.
Well, it was a static shift crit too. It still wasn't enough to kill Dardoch there, but WildTurtle 2 levels up over Piglet, and now they're able to get something back. The kills go over. Yes, they stop the Baron, but the gold is still in favor of FlyQuest. And yes, this has started up because they feel like Piglet can do enough damage to this with the maxed out W, with the Blade of the Ruined King, and then he jumps in, and we see Moon go in. He just gets nommed by Cho'Gath there, and this was well played from Lourlo, actually, to hit both High and LemonNation with the Rupture there. It causes a lot of kind of chaos for the side of TL. For FlyQuest.
And you can just see how different that would have been if Turtle was alive, which, like you said, is exactly why TL started it up.
I mean, you see the low health bars at the end there. That Tristana is one of the champions that TL are going to have a hard time catching out. So there's a lot in WildTurtle's kind of wheelhouse in order to outplay here with the rocket jumps. And he would get some resets, and the fact he's so far ahead, you have to feel fantastic as this Tristana. But look at this, another startup here. They are forcing this so hard.
Yep, going back in again. They should actually get it at this point. Lourlo with the feast. Oh, they've been spotted, but it's only Matt.
It's done.
It's too late. Yep, the Baron goes over. Feast there for Cho, and FlyQuest just forced to push mid.
Yeah, FlyQuest are going to push mid, try to get this tier 2 turret.
Should be able to.
They should be able to, yes. They'll push bottom as well, maybe get that tier 2 and control of the bot side jungle. But, oh man, TL. They tried it like 4 times. I mean, when was FlyQuest going to say, all right, they seem pretty desperate for this Baron. Let's always have at least 1 ward on it. It felt like that was something that's so obvious it's coming over and over again.
Well, TL's persistence pays off as they do take the Baron for themselves and actually retake the gold lead as a result. Less than 1,000 between these 2 teams as Turtle still happily farming. Got a lot of gold banked up, so should have that full Last Whisper upgraded. Looks like that's Lord Dominic's Regards, because I'm guessing that's Giant Slayer, if my brain recalls items correctly. Almost no. No one almost ever built this component first.
Freak actually loves this component.
He would.
He's like, mathematically, it's better in most cases if they have more HP than you. So, all right. And build Lord Dominic's.
Pretty easy when there's a Cho'Gath on the enemy team.
Yeah,
and a health stacking Jarvan.
But now the Stone Plates have come in. The Jarvan has the Knight's Vow on Piglet, who is getting a little more CS, but WildTurtle now already 100 up.
All right, well, first turret's a pretty easy one there for Team Liquid, but how much more can they get? Turrets will now sit even. As Turtle with 4 items is just waiting for a team fight where he can really go off. It will not take much if you can get onto the right targets, and even the tanks are going to feel pretty squishy between the 2 FlyQuest marksmen.
2 FlyQuest marksmen, but you have to take into consideration Lourlo here. 8-stack Cho'Gath, level 16 already, sitting at 4,000 HP, and he's got that Gargoyle Stoneplate. Without it on, his Feast is already going to do about 890 true damage, and then that'll add at least 500 more on top of it. So if he can get a full Gargoyle Stoneplate and a Nom.
Oh, Matt actually going to find, a great kill there. Lourlo able to take down High, does use the Feast, but Lourlo now Stoneplating up as TL going to try and break here. Turtle firing away, the Nature's Grasp is coming down to lock up 2. Dardoch still tanking low. Turtle again just firing pot shots in, but he just can't find a kill, which is what he really needs. The Black Shield's on. This is the time. Piglet getting low. Almost goes down his Moon. Moves forward as he's able to take him down. Looks for the resets. Turtle looking for Dardoch. Flashes forward, but he goes down. Oh my god. Kog'Maw and Orianna did so much damage there. Piglet, even in death, able to assist as Team Liquid turn it back around.
Ah, that was amazing. He jumps in WildTurtle. It looks like he's going to clean up the fight. And it's nope. Mickey and Piglet with the burst on him.
They got the Kog'Maw and they thought it was going to be okay, but they may have forgotten about the passive for 1 split second too long. Team Liquid win the fight and take the inhibitor there in the bot side.
He got absolutely annihilated, and that turns the entire fight around and helps them out so much. Piglet as well actually gets blown up there too. We'll see that again. Lourlo, I feel like, gets a little too antsy. I think they have this kill on High. because the shockwave comes through as well. And Lourlo flashes, stone plates, and noms. The whole team blew so much there. And that's going to be the go cue here. There's no shockwave on Mickey. So they feel confident to kind of walk up here. The black shield on WildTurtle is going to allow him to step up, feel good about hitting Piglet here. They kill Piglet, and watch this. He jumps in. WildTurtle just, that's the Acathian surprise. The QW from Mickey, and then that was it. And now you can see FlyQuest are completely routed because their AD carry was full health, and he died in half a second there.
They just waited maybe a little bit longer. FlyQuest could have won the extended firefight instead. Surprised indeed.
You look at that, 8,000 damage, and then he got 100 to 0'd, and then he was the team. He is the team right now.
I want to know how much of Piglet's damage in that last fight was his passive. I want to know how much of that 3,000 was his passive. Well, have to find out later perhaps, but Turtle, you can see just how much he can do in these fights. Laying into tanks, he's going to put up ridiculous, unreasonable, unrealistic damage numbers, but if he dies, not enough to win the rest of the team fight.
This is the Photoshop Tristana, setting some unrealistic standards, you know. Not everybody gets to do 8,000 damage. No, it's okay.
Has anyone ever done over 9,000? That's the real question.
Ooh, in a team fight? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's happened.
I think so too. I think Pog'Maw did like 6K on Talia in a game that I remember somewhat recently, so 8,000 is pretty absurd for Turtle.
Yeah, production just reminded me that Azir is the champion, so yeah, it's probably happened at some point. But yes, this Tristana, like I said.
Sivir also back in the meta. Those champions do cheat.
Very much so. But, I mean, Turtle kind of the team right now. Even like High getting picked off later in the fight, still, it was like mostly Turtle's damage. It's pretty much his whole team combined ×2, and then you'd get what Turtle was doing in that fight. And he could have done more. He had the opportunity to do more. Flashed forward, WildTurtle play, and then WildTurtle, you know, goes away.
I almost feel like Mickey and Turtle could actually form quite the team.
Oh, you're making your own roster now?
On opposite sides, unfortunately for them. I'll have to keep that one in my pocket for a lane-by-lane segment, perhaps.
Yeah, confirming that Piglet's Acathian Surprise was about 450 damage per target. So...
That's a lot.
Yeah, looking for Mickey.
Yeah, don't want that to happen again. Piglet still firing off to the other side. He's getting Cho'Gath, but Piglet maybe on the wrong flank. Lourlo trying to find the number. He's taking too much damage. LemonNation there with the added center. Turtle just speeding everybody up. There's so much support there, and Turtle able to slay the biggest tank on the field. Again, he's looking for Piglet, but Dardoch, he's going to lock them all up. Piglet finally gets killed, but High with a great package over the top. Takes down Piglet, is going to bear the brunt of that passive this time. And Dardoch, he's getting chased down by Turtle. One more auto needed, and that's enough. FlyQuest, decisive team fight win.
Yep, WildTurtle there with the range. What he does in that fight is he skirts it on the side. There isn't too much threat on him, and High's trying to clean up here. You did it again, Pastry. You muted me.
I'm sorry. It's so exciting.
Pastry's box, or my box is right on Pastry's side. So I know it's a little different. He's muting me instead of himself. But anyway, right now, FlyQuest going to push
to contain your excitement.
And I mean, they have double AD carry. That might be game.
Maybe 2 ADs ready to go. Lemon the only one dead with 4 on the side of Team Liquid. Looking for Matt.
Yeah, they said screw the break.
That's
it's time to end the game.
All right, FlyQuest do have enough. Turtle, an absolutely incredible performance from this Tristana. FlyQuest looked a little choppy there in the mid game. Team Liquid couldn't find it. The flash knob takes down winners Lourlo. At least get something back, but the Nexus is what counts. FlyQuest take game number 1.
Exactly, the Nexus is what counts there. And FlyQuest, they win this game, this next one coming up, they're going to be in a very good spot to actually not have a spot in the promotion tournament, and they'll keep those championship points.
And it just, again, just everything really riding on Turtle there at the end of that game. You said it, he's pretty much the team in that last team fight where Team Liquid were able to take an inhibitor, by the way, which was still dead when that game ended, but FlyQuest do what they need to do, and like you said, basically Turtle does the opposite of what he did in the fight they lost, and surprise, they win.
Yeah, he skirted the last few fights pretty adeptly, I would say. When he was going after the Cho'Gath and Piglet stepped forward to try and deal damage, he went around the Cho'Gath to the side, gave like 1 or 2 shots into Piglet. One of them was a crit. Piglet had to back up, and then he spent the rest of the time just shooting the Cho'Gath until he was dead. And it takes a long time. You really just don't want to, as an AD carry, dedicate so much time and damage to that Cho'Gath when there's threat in other places, because the rest of the team was trying to dive. Mickey, who was peeling back, and then when you put threat on Piglet, it made Piglet have to peel backwards as well.
Well, certainly a fun one there, but we are going to throw it over to the Mark and Dash to see what they make of that FlyQuest win.
The Mark.
It's the. It is the. Come on, Z. Thank you very much, Pastry Time and Zyrene FlyQuest coming away with a victory here in the late game over Team Liquid. But this entire game was a story of skirmishes being traded back and forth, back and forth. Really not a clean game from either team, to be fair.
No.
But again, at the end of the day, FlyQuest walks away with game 1, and this is such an important matchup for both of these teams currently tied in the standings at 8th place in terms of making their way out of that relegation zone.
This is exactly the kind of game that FlyQuest finds a way to win as well. When you're playing against these, lower tier teams, they're having a hard time closing the game out. It gets very, very scrappy, and you can count on Hai and the rest of these veterans on FlyQuest to find the one fight that's going to win them the game, because this felt almost like an inevitability for a lot of the game where you're just waiting for TL to finally win the game, and they just never actually did, and they gave enough time for FlyQuest.
And part of that is, of course, in my opinion, the composition put together by FlyQuest. You've got the Maokai. As soon as FlyQuest secures the Maokai, that's where I start to believe that if they can stretch it to the late game, they will find that fight. Eventually, balls will get onto the priority target in a fight. In the late game, death timers are long enough and they can push from there.
It's definitely one of those comps that's a little bit easier to execute. Both have a great mid and AD carry for late game team fighting. Both have really nice front line, but when you're looking at the Cho'Gath, if he's not actually able to land a rupture or if someone else starts the fight for him, you can have a hard time getting onto someone. And eventually we'll watch that last team fight again, I'm sure, and you'll see that he has a little bit harder of a time than Maokai in a late game team
Before
fight.
we get to that last team fight, let's go ahead and take a look at the first team fight. This one came at 7 minutes into the game. A messy, messy skirmish down in the bot lane. Everybody gets involved. 3 kills to 2 is the trade here at the end of it all.
A sign of things to come from this game, because there's going to be a lot of these scrappy fights, just not super clean gameplay overall. Matt and Dardoch get a little distracted trying to hop on the moon, and this whole time Piglet's like, hey, dive this one guy into the turret. They never quite sync up, so Piglet ends up tanking a lot of the turret himself. He gets low, has a hard time collapsing. Meanwhile, Dardoch and Matt did not quite have the damage to finish off a single kill on the other side. Mickey finally comes in, he shoots an air ball. He eventually is able to pull the Tristana back onto him, but that's going to lead to a 1-to-1 trade. Meanwhile, Dardoch and Matt are still on the other side looking for a kill.
All right, but here's the thing. At least Team Liquid is making an aggressive move in the early game. In the past, it's not like they've never made an aggressive move here this summer split. But one thing we have accused them of or been critical of is the fact that they play not to lose, right? That they rarely set up a play on their own and put pressure onto the map, forcing the other team to respond. That is a play that they initiated. It forced FlyQuest to respond. And then throughout the game, even with the Baron that they were able to take, they were the ones initiating those Barons and putting the pressure and the ball into FlyQuest's court in terms of reacting to it. And I will say that I at least prefer that look to somebody who's just like, well, I hope we outlane them so much that we can just get, snag the victory.
Yeah, but I mean, ever since week 6 or 7, it feels like Team Liquid has been playing that way where they don't sit on the back foot that much, even when it was Rainover, and he had been making a lot of aggressive plays as well. And I think what you saw was that even though they were still kind of keeping that attitude up of wanting to be more aggressive, their play did not match their attitude, because a number of times they floundered when they should have been sealing the game. They got a 3-for-0 near Baron.
Right.
They didn't actually get the Baron then. They had to go into a reset, and FlyQuest kind of gave it up. And then when they're sieging the bot inhibitor, they don't protect Piglet. He gets bound. They lose another team fight, and at least this stall situation.
And that's where we have to now try and do our best job of drawing the comparisons between, the trade-offs that were made, right? You've got Rainover, who was underperforming earlier in the split, maybe starting to return to form, gain that momentum back most recently. You've got him subbed out, Dardoch's trying to cover for that difference, and then you've got Mickey coming in for Golden Ghoul. I think a lot of people would say on paper that's an upgrade, but we've still yet to necessarily see it for certain whether or not it is. What's your feeler so far? Where are you at on the barometer?
I mean, it's only one game, so I'm not going to make a definitive statement either way, but I do feel like, based off this one game, that the previous roster with Golden Glue and Rainover was a little bit better.
Okay.
I think they synergized better. Their team fighting was a little cleaner. They were still not super good.
Let's clarify. Was a little bit better more recently. Isolated to their more recent games.
Yeah,
We're not
after
saying
week
you go
5
back
or
to
6.
week 1 and you'd rather have that.
Yeah, definitely not. But if you look at the recent weeks, the wins that Rainover was getting, he was very proactive in the early game, and then they were able to snowball pretty cleanly for the most part once they got their leads. This time, despite getting another lead, you saw that the snowball was not nearly as clean. Some synergy issues about exactly who to target in fights and when to walk forward and protect turrets and stuff like that.
Well, to your point then about the roster that was succeeding most recently, I will turn again to Piglet and Matt, because if there was something positive to take away from it, it was that bot lane doing a lot of work. We saw early kills going over to Piglet. Matt on these playmaking supports definitely seems to be rebuilding that confidence that that's going to be required of him if this team is going to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, Thresh was one of his original champions that he got his start on. Matt Life was his old name. He was almost a one-trick at some point, but it's something that's a very comfort pick for him. He is a confidence-based player. We always say that. And when he's able to get a champion he's comfortable on, he can be confident. And you saw him playing very aggressively in lane, and that kind of helped got Piglet going.
We mentioned that there were about 27 of those skirmishy fights. We're going to go ahead and jump to the final one. This came 36 minutes into the game. FlyQuest 4-0 off of the engage from the Maokai. Find the right fight in the late game, and FlyQuest will take it to the Nexus.
Yeah, and you're going to want to track Lourlo a little bit in this fight, where he's just CC'd up, trying to run at Turtle, can't get onto him, just getting chunked out constantly. His ruptures don't land, gets stunned up, and just taken down. In a situation where Maokai would have landed the W's. You see Maokai continuing forward, gets on the mat here. Dardoch has a nice turn onto 3 members, and the ball is not actually able to get onto him or into the pit. Ty times that package so well to knock Mickey out of range from getting that combination with Dardoch. I don't know if that was intentional or not, if he actually saw that he was shutting that down, or if he just saw an opportunity to jump forward, but either way, that was critical in stopping a combination ultimate between Dardoch and Mickey, and it was just a fight that no one could actually get involved in on the TL side once their front line went down.
From there, down mid to kill the Nexus, FlyQuest pick up game 1 here in an all-important match between the two teams. WildTurtle will be picking up player of the game. What's your opinion on this guy here on the Tristana? I mean, again, the wheelhouse champion for him. We'll recall some of his highlight plays being on this champion, and in terms of that aggressive play style, I very much feel like it's something Team Liquid should consider here going into game 2, either picking or banning away.
It's definitely one of his best champions. It fits the playstyle extremely well. A scrappy game, Tristana's going to love that in terms of being able to get multiple resets. A relatively scaling champion, so it's going to match Piglet, who for the most part recently has been taking scaling champions as well. So you are able to match him in the mid and late game, and then hopefully with the skirmishes, you'll eventually find that one that you get to reset through.
I think we also, that it's just a reminder that FlyQuest here, what's on the line for them is those championship points. Again, Phoenix 1 lost earlier today, so if FlyQuest can pick up a victory, they put 1 match separation between them going into the final day of play. That could be huge in securing the 8th place slot and therefore securing their championship points and a possible qualification for the regional qualifiers.
And this is one of the situations you expect FlyQuest to thrive in, when it is high pressure, when it is a situation where you just have to scrap out the win. Doesn't matter how you get it. This is a team that we said before, tons of veteran players, tons of shot calling experience, and hopefully the ability to keep their composure and actually close out these games.
And that's the key. Composure right there. We'll see if Team Liquid can even up the score when we come back with game 2 against FlyQuest. See you soon.
Gank mid.
Gank mid. Good.
Okay.
I carry.
Okay.
Gank mid and get first tower in bottom.
Just like Scrim.
Free win.
There's the slope. Gonna try and force it out. Oh, the flash knock up there as Ball's forced to flash, but Lourlo, he's gonna follow, and that's first blood.
Turret shot.
We can fight. We can fight. We can fight.
I'll let you know.
Hi, chill.
Rengar's dead.
Hey, Rengar.
I'm gonna die. Maybe.
I'm Maokai. Corki flash, Corki flash.
Right.
Take him down. Looks for the resets. Turtle looking for Dardoch. Flashes forward, but he goes down. Oh my god. Kog'Maw and Orianna did so much damage there. Piglet, even in death, able to assist as Team Liquid turn it back around.
Okay, I'm going in, Lemon. Careful, careful.
I'm on a flash. Careful, Ori has ult, I think.
I killed them. They're dead. They're dead. Can we end?